It's the 5th of March in 2024, and it is Super Tuesday. Glad to have you here. We're going to do kind of an abbreviated show tonight. I'm going to run through some of the things happening here in Oregon, but also we are watching the live results. And there really, so far, hasn't been any really good summary that you can go to and find everything in one place that I've been able to find. However, the website, The Hill, has a pretty good set of updates. I'm also watching Just the News, which tends to have decent information about what's happening. Hopefully tonight they decided to engage in some breaking news because it looks like a lot of what we were expecting is happening. We're seeing President Trump roll up a whole set of victories. It doesn't appear that Nikki Haley is anywhere close in any of the states. But of course, Joe Biden is also winning because in most states, they haven't even allowed people to actually compete with them in the primary. And all of the sycophants that might consider running if they thought he was weak and they could take him out aren't running. They're busy running around praising him for being such a wonderful president. So, of course, this is to be expected. But what we're seeing so far is that, so we should have results closer to 8 p.m. in California. It looks like we have results. Well, they've made some calls based on exit polls. So they said Biden has won Colorado, he's won Texas, he's won Minnesota. Trump has also won the Colorado primary. They said Biden's won the Minnesota primary. Shocker there. And they are projecting that President Trump will win the Texas primary. They're also the Arkansas Democrat primary has been won by Biden, and President Trump has won the Arkansas Republican primary. Trump also has won the Virginia Republican primary. So there's a lot of races at stake here, and but there are still some states that are finishing up their vote counting, and some I think that whose polls. And there's actually a site here that tells when the polls close. So Alabama closed at 7 p.m. and I can see I'm pretty much. I don't see any reason to talk about the Democrat results because they're all just morons rubber stamping a cognitively impaired president. And I don't see what that's telling us. It would only be to see if we have some uncommitted votes. So in Alabama, President Trump has gotten 80% of the vote and is expected to prevail there. Alaska is not going to close until 8 p.m. local time. So we're still watching that. I mentioned about Arkansas. Let's see if we can get Arkansas, view full results. 81.9% of the vote for Donald Trump. So H.A. Hutchinson, the former governor who used to be on the ballot, got 2.5%. So kind of tells you where that's heading. Let's see. Let's keep going. Massachusetts. So California, like I said, we won't know until late tonight. And we mentioned Colorado. Let's take a look at the live results here in Colorado. President Trump got 58.1% of the vote, 38% for Nikki Haley. President Trump is projected to win. I don't know in each of these states what the allocation is of the delegates. And of course, there might be a special situation in Colorado because that was a state where they tried to throw him off the ballot, which is why the Supreme Court issued a ruling yesterday, 9-0, vacating the decision by the Colorado Supreme Court to throw President Trump off the ballot. Do these other states get 30 days longer like Oregon? I don't know. I don't think so because I think a lot of them haven't quite gotten to the point that we are. We're on the cutting edge of stupidity here. And we'll pretty much have people voting all the time before and after elections, and people trucking in ballots whenever they feel like it. We'll see. Maine. So let's take a look at the Maine Republican results here. President Trump, 75.9% of the vote. Nikki Haley, 22%. And what's interesting about that is the only endorsements that Nikki Haley has gotten are from Lisa Murkowski in Alaska and Susan Collins in Maine. So Susan Collins's endorsement didn't carry a whole lot of weight. Certainly not there, but we'll see what happens in Alaska with Lisa Murkowski. Lisa Murkowski is not known for being a staunch conservative, which is just no secret to anybody in Alaska or elsewhere. Massachusetts. Let's look at Massachusetts here. 65.6% of the vote in Massachusetts, 31% for Nikki Haley. And so that's a 43-point lead. And by the way, you know, when people say, well, but she got this much percentage of the vote, but if you look historically back on primaries in the past, it's unusual for somebody, unless they actually are the direct incumbent like Biden is right now, to rack up percentages that are that high in terms of results. And then North Carolina, let's take a look at North Carolina. 74% of the vote, Donald Trump. That one is clearly projected for president. That's the state just north of the one that Nikki Haley's from, and she got 22%. Oklahoma, let's see here. 82.9% of the vote for Donald Trump, so obviously the projected winner. Tennessee, we get Tennessee in here. And 73.2% of the vote. Yes, and there's 16 states holding nominating contests today. Texas. We'll get Texas coming up here. And also, I think we wrap up, oh no, there's Vermont, Utah, and Virginia. Oh, and don't forget American Samoa. I believe they're holding something here today. But it's just a Democrat caucus, which is actually almost pointless. So Texas, 73.4% of the vote for Donald Trump, 21.6% for Nikki Haley. Vermont. Okay, so Vermont is more of a contest here. And we know Vermont is a very special state, the Ben and Jerry's vote. I don't know if it's one of those states where people can vote in whatever primary they want, but Donald Trump has 49% of the vote, Nikki Haley 47.3%. And then there's some that went to Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, Vivek Ramaswamy, who have all dropped out. So we'll have to watch that one. It's only 55% of the vote have reported in. We'll see what happens with that one, but that's one to keep an eye on here through the rest of the night. Utah, no results yet. That one, I guess, maybe the polls have not closed there yet. Virginia, Donald Trump got 64.8% of the vote, 33% for Nikki Haley. And that's it. So that's the presidential results for today. In terms of things happening in Oregon, they're rushing to complete all the bills before the end of the session here. So good thing to stay tuned. Maybe we'll have more information about that tomorrow. And but stay tuned. And also the open primary initiative is cratered. So take a look at that and keep in mind that open primary is an attempt to essentially negate parties and make it so that we can have like 2 Democrats on the ballot in the general election for you to choose from. And the housing package from Tina Kotek is gone to the governor, I believe, for her to sign. So, and a very interesting column here. Kurt Schrader, the former congressman, is saying that the U.S. Supreme Court should check executive overreach on federal lands in the Antiquities Act. Nice that he believes that now. Maybe he'll pull along some Democrats with him. Anyway, that is the long and the short of our abbreviated session here tonight. Stay tuned for more results late in Vermont, Alaska, and I think those are the main states that we still have to watch out for. Thanks for joining me here in this short session of the Captive Audience tonight, and hope to see all of you here soon. And then another episode of the Captive Audience tomorrow night should be done. And